In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Today's gospel is about a man who was demon-possessed and he was blind and mute. And we heard this miracle before that our Lord Jesus Christ actually healed him, and he spoke, and his sight came back to him. And this tells us that when evil spirits possess someone, they can make them go do crazy things. They can make them lose many things of the normal function. But I want to use this today to highlight something. Sometimes when we read this, we think, oh, doesn't happen nowadays. It's far from us. We don't know any of this happening now. It's all sounds like fairy tale stuff, It doesn't sound real. But I can assure you that evil spirits are real. And witchcraft and all these things are actually real. It may take a very diluted way now. It may take a very, very under the tag, under the name of fun. And we can see this very clear now as Tuesday is coming up, and the whole world is celebrating what? On Tuesday. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Does that sound? Does that look familiar? Can you come here? Can you hold this for me? Hold this for me? Stay heavy. Stay heavy. Yes, stay heavy. Stay heavy. Can you show them that box out there? The world will celebrate Halloween. But does actually people know what they're actually celebrating? It's a very serious thing. Stay heavy, we can swap. Okay? The reason why we did that is because yesterday with the youth, we actually did Halloween. We educating the youth about the dangers of celebrating Halloween and what the meaning behind it. And that's why you see they carved out crosses on the pumpkin. And that took them a lot of time, but we wanted to make the point is you need to understand what the people are celebrating. This is a celebration of the devil, a celebration of evil practices. A lot of these connotations around evil spirits. We're getting people, all the kids get dressed in devils and witches and roam around houses, ask for trick or treat. Do we know what the background of this? Do you have any idea what we're doing? We're actually participating and practicing in an evil worship under the name of fun. This started as if it gets too heavy, you can put it on the floor. Okay? It actually started back a long time ago in Britain and Ireland. This was actually a worship of the Lord of the Dead. And they used to believe that the evil spirits and the spirit of the people departed come back and roam back to the houses where they used to live. It was something very scary. And they wanted to avoid them because they used to cause harm to animals and farm and crops and houses. So they used to appease them and try and leave them food out to avoid them from harming them. So they used to offer them treats so they don't give them what? Evil tricks. That's where trick or treat came from. And many other things that we can see the way they practice things. The jack-o'-lantern. This is a story goes back to someone who's actually going around, was rejected by heaven, rejected by hell, and was roaming around finding a place to rest. The devil throws him a coal. He puts it in that something hollow like this to light the way for him. All various stories revolving around evil spirits. The people used to get around and carve ghosts and devil faces, scary faces in these pumpkins and go around the houses scaring people so they can give them food instead or give them things instead. All this stuff are evil practices. So we should never be practicing them. Even people say it's harmless, but it has the background, the connotation of celebrating an evil practice. It's similar for us going and participating in a service in another, for example, religion, in a pagan religion, in a church of Satan, or going to a temple and praying for any of their gods, which is totally unacceptable for us as Christians. So we need to understand that for us as Christians, we need to promote what the Bible says, what the beliefs of the Bible says. And I'll tell you some quotes about what the Bible says about Halloween. What is wrong with this type of evil practice? If you can open up the Bible, if you have Bibles with you ready, Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9. I'll read it quickly. This is what the Lord tells the people of Israel. He tells them, when you enter in the land which I'm going to give you, do not follow what the people do. This shall not be found among you. Anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through fire, one who practices witchcraft, or interprets omens, or sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or mediums, or one who calls up the dead. These are totally rejected by God. Totally rejected by God. And we see it in the book of Revelation, in the New Testament. St. Paul says that sorcerers shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire. Very serious stuff here. There's many other verses, but because of time, this is very serious. We should not participate in things like that. Not everything is fun, is okay. Not because they're getting lollies. No, it's because it's a practice. We are actually participating in and practicing in evil type of worship. It may not appear like that from the outside, but what are we supporting? I cannot be with God one day and with the devil one day. I need to make up my mind. Where do I stand? Do I celebrate God and his festivities, or do I celebrate the devil? Do I promote what the Bible tells me, and do I promote Christianity and the strength? Do I address my kids as angels or as saints, or do I address them as devils and witches? Where do I stand? This is very serious. If they want lollies, we can buy them lollies. It's not the end of the world. It's not about lollies. Too heavy. You can put it down. All right? He's a strong boy. See, they're wearing angels now. As deacons, they're wearing angels. So we cannot be angels one day and devils the next day. Even under the name of fun, this is totally unacceptable. So please pass on the message. We're trying to educate as many people as possible about this, that we as Christians should not be naive and follow what people do, because there's a meaning behind everything that these practices do. It's a very commercial, big business now. It's the second biggest event after Christmas in terms of business and money. But we shouldn't be promoting and supporting that. We should follow what the Bible tells us, because this is our belief. Glory be to God forever.